I don't exist. So they're all characters.
I'm dead. Bonjour. Bonjour. Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. I really took on a pretty big challenge trying to do my speech in French. So, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy. But, it's, then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there receiving their awards. And I was like, I'm dead. And I was like, I'm dead.
Everybody can do their own research with all this Epstein stuff going on, but there's a lot. Jim Carrey's dead. He is. Do a little bit of research and you'll figure it out. He's just becoming so absolutely empowered with God. But yes, Jim Carrey is gone.
Okay, so look at this man's face. Now look at this one. Same person? Because millions of people watched Jim Carrey walk onto a stage in Paris 2 weeks ago and immediately said absolutely not. That is not the same man.
Carrey has officially responded to the hundreds of conspiracy theories that he was cloned or replaced at the award show in France. Or if it was really a makeup artist that he hired as a stand-in for him, this is gonna be the final and last update you'll need to know. So as we know, 64-year-old Jim Carrey went to the Caesar Awards last week looking very different. What really scared people though is that his eyes seem to have gone to a completely different color from brown to green. And this Jim Carrey suddenly used his right hand to sign autographs even though he's a known lefty. The world was desperate for an explanation. But here to save the day and end our confusion was special effects makeup artist Alexis Stone, who said basically she was hired to be a Jim Carrey stand-in at that award show because Jim doesn't like going to things like that. She even posted 3D renderings of her plan to become Jim Carrey and then posted the mask and the face and the hair and the teeth she was gonna use. And this makeup artist has done some really convincing celebrity transformation. She even went to a red carpet as Jennifer Coolidge, and people really thought it was Jennifer Coolidge. And we know Jim Carrey has hired professional stand-ins for him before.
I've done this a few times now, and it's using a decoy. It's fantastic.
Like a Jim Carrey double.
A Jim Carrey double.
Oh, yeah. And while people were really comforted by this reassuring explanation that maybe Jim Carrey wasn't dead or cloned, the photos the makeup artist posted were clearly AI and not real. I mean, look at the Eiffel Tower in that photo. It just happens to be in the middle and you fell for it. I'm sorry if this doesn't comfort you, but Jim Carrey's publicist came out and confirmed that that was 100% him at the Caesar Awards in France. And even though he was looking and acting very different and not being how he used to be at award shows, this is just the new Jim Carrey now. So the conspiracies will probably continue.
Fans are pointing at the eyes. Lighter, wider, different shape. The jawline, rounder. The energy, calmer. Wrong voice, wrong posture, wrong everything. And just when the theories started really building, a well-known makeup and prosthetic artist posted a photo of a silicone mask alongside photos from the event and basically said, yeah, that was me. I was Jim Carrey in Paris. Megan Fox jumped in the comments and said, I can't handle any more stress right now. I need to know if this is real. Katy Perry dropped a bullseye emoji, and the whole thing just exploded. But here's what every single one of those viral posts left out. Jim Carrey's daughter was standing right there in that room, and what she said publicly about her father, about growing up in his shadow, about being his emotional anchor, reframes everything you think you know about that night. We're gonna get to that, but first you need to understand what actually went down. February 26th, the 51st César Awards in Paris. Think of it as France's Oscars. Jim Carrey is there to receive an honorary César, a Lifetime Achievement Award. Past winners include Sophia Loren, Steven Spielberg, Julia Roberts. This is serious. And Carrey does something nobody expected. He gives his entire acceptance speech in French.
Comment était mon français? Presque médiocre, non? Pardonnez-moi, je ne parle pas que mon français, mais je l'emprunte juste. Ma langue est fatiguée. Je vous aime tous, du fond du cœur. Merci.
He's not a French speaker. He reportedly spent months rehearsing it. He asked the event organizers about the exact pronunciation of specific words. And in that speech, standing in a room full of French cinema royalty, he publicly acknowledged a woman named Min Ah, called her his sublime companion, said he loved her, in French. Nobody had ever heard this name before. Nobody had ever seen them together. This man, who told Howard Stern in 2014 that he doesn't believe in marriage, who hasn't been publicly linked to anyone since the death of his girlfriend in 2015, just declared love on an international stage in a language he barely speaks. That should have been the headline. It was not the headline, because people could not get past his face. And honestly, look at the footage. Something does look different. His hair is longer and darker. His face is noticeably fuller. Some angles make his eyes appear to be a completely different color. He's 64. People age. But this didn't look like aging to a lot of viewers. This looked like a different person wearing Jim Carrey's tuxedo. One post on X said, "Sorry, but there's a 0% chance this is actually Jim Carrey." Another one said, "And I wish I was making this up. Jim Carrey was cloned and killed by Satanists. They can create a clone in 5 months." Then somebody dug up an old clip from Late Night with David Letterman, where Carrey actually talked about using body doubles to dodge paparazzi. He literally said he sends a decoy in one direction and walks the other way.
We were talking about Jim's problem with the as he calls them, the stalkerazzi.
This is the
because
phrase that I coined.
They stalk you. He coined that. He came up with that.
Yeah.
But you have a solution.
Schmuckerazzi.
Schmuckerazzi. Wow. Yes, sir. So how do you handle it? What is the solution? Because a lot of folks would be interested in this. What do you do?
I almost went really bad there. Okay, I'm sorry.
Come on, go ahead.
I do.
Go.
Never mind. No, I can't. No, I have relatives still living.
Come on.
That would never forgive me.
But yeah, no, I've done this a few times now, and it's using a decoy.
I'm sorry, a decoy?
Using a decoy. It sounds so ridiculous, but it works like a charm.
like a double.
It's fantastic.
Like a Jim Carrey double.
A Jim Carrey double.
Well, yeah, that's amazing.
So what I do is I send him off in one direction, sucks all the press in that direction, and I can just have my day. And
whatever
just
you want to
go
do.
Wherever I want, totally unmolested. It's fantastic.
Right.
And,
well, they say the best ideas are the simplest ones, and this really couldn't be more simple.
It really is
And
amazing.
I'm sure it works.
Really works.
That clip went everywhere. And then Alexis Stone entered the chat. Stone is a British drag and transformation artist who has made a whole career out of turning into celebrities using prosthetics. This is not a random person. This is someone who has shown up at Fashion Week events looking identical to famous people and fooled rooms full of industry professionals. Stone posted a photo of a prosthetic mask and wig next to the Caesar photos and captioned it, "Alexis Stone is Jim Carrey in Paris." The post got over 500,000 likes, 30,000 comments. Even celebrities couldn't tell if it was real. The conspiracy went from fringe to mainstream in about 12 hours. So what's the truth? Well, the general delegate of the César Awards, Gregory Collier, told Variety, on the record, that Carrey's visit had been in the works since the previous summer, 8 months of ongoing discussions. The speech was rehearsed for months. Carrey came with his daughter, his grandson, his partner, his publicist, and 12 close friends and family. His longtime collaborator, Michel Gondry, was in the room. Carrey's own publicist told TMZ point blank, Jim Carrey attended the César Awards where he accepted his honorary César Award. The Snopes fact-check rated the clone theory false. Multiple sources confirmed everything. But nobody's talking about the real story underneath all of this. And the real story is so much messier than a clone theory. Let's go back, because you can't understand what happened in Paris without understanding what happened to Jim Carrey. In 2015, a woman named Catriona White was found dead in her Los Angeles home. Prescription drug overdose, ruled a suicide. She was 30 years old. She was Jim Carrey's on-again, off-again girlfriend. He served as a pallbearer at her funeral in Ireland and released a statement calling her a truly kind and delicate Irish flower, too sensitive for this soil. That should have been the end of it. It was not. A year later, White's estranged husband and her mother filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Carrey. The allegations were ugly. They claimed he obtained prescription drugs under a fake name and gave them to her. They claimed he gave her sexually transmitted diseases that contributed to her mental distress. Carrey denied everything and countersued, calling the whole thing an extortion attempt. And then his lawyers found something, a document from 2011 that supposedly showed White was STD-free before meeting Carrey. A key piece of the case against him turned out to be forged. Fabricated evidence in a wrongful death lawsuit against a man who had just lost the woman he loved. In January 2018, the entire case was dismissed. Both sides, all claims, done. But the damage was already baked in. That story, those allegations, they don't wash off. After that, Carrey basically disappeared. He started painting full-time. He got deep into spirituality and philosophy. He made fewer and fewer public appearances. When he came back for Sonic the Hedgehog in 2020, it felt temporary. After Sonic 2 in 2022, he told Access Hollywood he was retiring.
Well, I'm retiring, but
No.
yeah, probably.
Are you being serious or are you screwing with me?
I'm being fairly serious. Yeah.
Really?
I feel like, and this is something you might never hear another celebrity say as long as time exists, I have enough. I've done enough. I am enough.
His exact words, I feel like, and this is something you might never hear another celebrity say as long as time exists, I have enough. I really like my quiet life. The man who was once the highest paid comedy actor in history said he was finished. That lasted about a year and a half. Paramount announced he was returning for Sonic 3. And on the red carpet in London in December 2024, a reporter read his retirement quote back to him. He laughed and said,
I wanted to ask you, because you've said in a past interview that you will come back if you get a script written in gold ink by angels.
Yeah.
Is this the script?
That might have been hyperbole, but yeah. You know, I came back to this universe because, first of all, I get to play a genius, which is a bit of a stretch. You know, it's just I bought a lot of stuff and I need the money.
That might have been hyperbole. Then he dropped the real answer. I bought a lot of stuff and I need the money, frankly. $300 million. That's what his net worth was reported at during his peak. The first actor to make $30 million from a single film. And here he is in 2024 telling a reporter he's broke. Around the same time, his Los Angeles mansion, bought for $3.8 million in 2004, was listed at $29 million, then slashed to $24, then to under $20 million. Still hasn't sold. So when this man shows up in Paris 2 months later looking physically different, acting softer than anyone's ever seen him, speaking a language he doesn't speak, and publicly declaring love to a mystery woman, yeah, people had questions. But his daughter already had the answers. Not because she held a press conference, not because she went on a podcast, because of who she's always been. Jane Erin Carrey is 38 years old. She's Jim's only child. She auditioned for American Idol in 2012 and told the cameras something that hits different now. It is difficult growing up in the shadow behind something and trying to find your place in the world underneath this huge shadow. She got eliminated. She called her dad. He told her he'd been told no plenty of times and it worked out. She went back to her band, raised her kids, 3 of them now, and stayed mostly out of the spotlight. She didn't trade on the Carrey name. She didn't do reality TV. She just lived. And Jim has said publicly that she's the person who keeps him grounded. He called her one of the most brilliant counsels of my life. After the depression, after Catriona, after the lawsuit, after the retirement, after the money, Jane was the constant. Now here's where it gets gross. Jane Carrey didn't ask for any of this. She was standing next to her father in one of the most emotional moments of his career.